wonderful edition of Trading Fast and Slow. Hopefully everyone had a good Labor Day weekend. For those in the US, I know those overseas didn't have a holiday. My Australian friends, I think it was Father's Day this weekend, so happy Father's Day for all of you fathers out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and the kids treated you to some treats. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Roach. Morning, Uncle Stacy. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got going on here. If we can widen this bad boy up. So as you can see here, this profile, right, all I've done is just merge the past 3 sessions. As far as the past 2 Globex sessions and then that holiday day session into one, just to get a better view of kind of how the trading has gone since the Friday close. Morning, Young Cryptic. For me, that's just something that I do, especially that holiday weekend, right? Just helps me see a little bit better. You don't necessarily have to. We can look at it here and see, that it's been moving higher. But it's just something that I like to do, and it just kind of cleans up the chart a little bit. So that's basically why you're not seeing that little day we had yesterday. But so let's talk a little bit about Friday, since we've got some time here. It's only 9 is it? 9:08, 9:06. Okay, so Friday's session, right? Go ahead and zoom this in a little bit. We open up higher. The open was all the way up here. Let me go ahead and change off of red. We open up all the way up here. The market kind of looks below. Here's the open here. We'll look at the bars. Looks below B period, opens up, looks below A, and then starts trading back to the upside. And then it just kind of dies, runs out of steam. We see 33 contracts traded on that top. Morning. And let me zoom this in a little bit here. Something that we want to talk about, or that I wanted to talk about this morning, is look at how much volume trades in this range, right? I mean, even all the way down to here, you got 12,000 here, right? We've got 5 TPOs, 6 TPOs, even just 4 TPOs here, even just 3 TPOs here, where we've got 13,000 volume, and then just 2 ticks above it, you've got, basically a third of the volume, right? So 2 ticks higher and a third of the volume. So volume just gets up into this range and just shuts right off, right? And that's a key thing to think about when you're trading. I know I didn't get to trade on Friday. I was at my my son's appointment, but that's just a key thing that you should be watching for, especially as we get close to a previous day's range or above a previous day's high. This is a Globex session here, but above this previous day's high. Let me get rid of the evening sessions. So we can see this is that 831 high. This is the previous month, but you get right above that high, and then all of a sudden volume just completely disappears, right? Just it can't be found. And I'm just posting the video real quick, and that's a key thing, and that really stood out to me. And then the market started to kind of fail, and then we saw a bit of liquidation, right? And I really truly believe that most of this move down was just a liquidation. All these laggard buyers did everything they could to try to move the market higher, right? We see all the volume up here, and yet the market just stalled out. The liquidation started to occur. And then I posted in the Discord for those of you guys that were trading. I said, hey, if this thing breaks, whoa, Jesus Christ, what's the deal here? Takes us all the way back to the beginning, huh? I'm just glad the charts are working, because they weren't working when I loaded up my charts yesterday. They were all blank. I was getting pissed. So here's that Globex session, and I had posted like, hey, if this thing gets below the Globex low, things could get pretty ugly, right? It did end up trading. Oh. It did end up trading a little bit lower. Pop and took that short in the top chat Friday. Hell yeah, good stuff. And so I really just think this was just liquidation, more liquidation. H period opened up, right, and then continued liquidating. The market started to balance a little bit once it got back inside that previous day's value, and then we ended on that spike to the low side. The interesting part about that spike to the low side is that the market spiked lower, wasn't able to get that poor low, and so it looked like laggard sellers, right? Low volume down here as well. You could see only 21 contracts traded on this low. And you could see the volume, you know, fairly light. We got a little bit of volume coming in here. That's those laggard sellers selling below the previous day's point of control, and probably some more liquidation. And then the market just kind of started to die out, right? And wasn't able to break that poor low, which to me is a symbol of weakness, right? And that is kind of showing, you know, it's kind of telling, right? And what it's telling to me is telling me that nobody is really willing to make a decision. You know, nobody's willing to initiate at a lower price or at a higher price, right? And so then that puts us into this kind of balance zone, and the balance really is from this 9.2 high to this 9.1 low. We've got a poor low up here, and we've got a weak high, I would say. I know it's a couple ticks, but it's pretty weak, and we've got that mechanical reference here up at that EF high. And so the market really, I think, is just kind of an unsure situation and really doesn't know what it wants to do. And so today, what I'm going to be looking for, especially with overnight inventory pretty much 100% net long, is to see a correction of that overnight inventory. I do think that this overnight inventory is, for the most part, just short covering, right? Laggard shorts that got short late in here after the market had already liquidated. Like I said, I don't think it was really real selling. I think the market buying shut off, market liquidated. You can see these people tried to catch, they got liquidated as well. Market traded back into that Thursday's value. Laggard shorts jumped on board, tried to push the market lower, and then selling shut off at the low. So we're pretty much stuck in between these ranges. And so what I'm going to be looking for today is looking for the market to come into this last and settle area, and for buyers to step back up, right? Previous day's point of control is going to be right there as well, so we do have some value. And even if we were to kind of smash these two together, right, you can see that point of control is right there, right above that level, and you've got all of the volume in that level. So that's where I'm going to be looking for responsive buyers or buyers in general to show up. And if they do show up, there's opportunity to come back and test some of these single prints, right? If the market gets above those single prints and we see that a lot of these laggard shorts are weak, you'll be looking for the halfway point of balance, which is pretty much right here, which is that 39.71, or we have those other single prints. If they give up those other single prints, then pretty much the target's going to be the high. We do have that 9.1 VPOC up there as well, and that could be a target. If the market moves down and fails this level, right, and we get a little bit of this, I'll be looking for the market to repair that weak low, or that poor low. Right, it was just an interesting spot where selling just kind of ran out, but Labor Day is over, big money's back in the market, and there could be some decent moves today. We are in a downtrend, and so we definitely want to understand that from the from the first of the year. But yeah, so that's pretty much what those are pretty much. This is pretty much going to be my make or break level on the ES. I don't know if I'm going to be gambling into these singles even if we open up higher and start to trade higher. I'll probably just let the market chill for a little bit, let it kind of figure out what it wants to do. Big money's back on the desk, right? They're probably pissed off because they just got back from the Hamptons for 2 months, and now they've got to actually do some work because they spent too much money gambling on the boats, right? I'm just making a joke, but you know what I mean, right? So let's go ahead and jump into the other charts and take a peek around the block. We can see the SPY here. Let me see if we got a new gamma level posted today. We did. Let me grab this one. Yeah, no real change. Okay, so you can see the key levels here, and I kind of have my levels that I've been watching on the SPY, but we have some key levels here around the 400, and then also around that 385 where we have these gamma levels, right? We've got a lot of expiries coming up on those, and this is the SPY that we're looking at. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the dollar. You can see the dollar breaking out this morning, looking to gain some steam. You can see the Australian dollar getting smacked, the euro hitting 20-year lows, I believe. Just kind of insane. Oh, my computer's like getting slow for a second. We can see Bitcoin sitting right below this 20,000 level once again. Why is this doing this? My mouse is like on delay mode. Oil is actually up 1%, catching a little bit of some upside. Not really, nothing really too crazy. I don't see. Especially if we zoom this out a bit, you can see that pretty much still sitting in a downtrend, but catching some wind today. Gold trading in between these two levels once again. Just some key levels that I had watched on gold. Hey man, not sure what you're seeing. Only have ES charts on the display. Oh, let me see here. Oh, because I'm on the boot camp. That's why. Thanks, Pierre. Well, hopefully, you guys could see it on Zoom, right? Morning, Adam. Now you guys can see it. So gold trading a little bit lower. I appreciate that, Pierre. Thank you. Bonds here trading a little bit lower. Apple had a nice wick down into Friday's session. Morning, Dad. Oh, nice. Already up. For those of you guys on Zoom, this is that other screen that I'm looking at here. This is on one of my other screens. I'm looking at this. I was reading a book this weekend called The Turtle Traders, and I was doing a little back testing this weekend. And so I have this on my other screen. I'm going to watch it and see. There's no trading off of it. I know it has like this long entry, short entry, long entry, short entry. And when you go back and look at it, there's some spots where you think like, oh, that would be good, that would be bad. But I read that book and it really kind of made my mind think like, oh, okay, well, if this guy was able to teach some random people about it, I'd at least like to look at it and see what the deal is. The turtle traders don't trade on a intraday chart, right? They trade on a daily or a weekly chart, but I wanted to look at it on an intraday chart and kind of see what it's all about. So I'll let you guys know like if we get any alerts, and it's a free thing. If you have Thinkorswim, I can send you the indicator. I found it on that ThinkScript website. But it's just something to watch, and I think it might be a useful tool to track the trend, right? So if you're one of those people that find yourself trading against the trend all the time, then this might be something that can at least be helpful and maybe keep you out of bad trades, right? It might not give you good entries or tell you when to buy or when to sell, but it may help you stay out of a bad trade. And honestly, in my opinion, I think staying out of a bad trade is almost as good as getting into a good trade, right? I think that's probably one of the things that people struggle with the most is staying out of a bad trade. And so, and I'm always trying to do some stuff to help people figure that out. AMD, well, actually, let's go back to Apple real quick. We can see Apple, that 155 level ended up holding on Thursday, popped up, retested it on Friday, and held it on Friday. And so today we'll be kind of watching that 155 level. Apple's going to be a big key as it's kind of been the leader in the market. If it does break that 155 and hold, it could get pretty scary below there, and we'll head for that zero gamma level at 150. This is kind of that level where you have people, long calls and short puts. So below that level, I expect to see some fairly heavy selling below that level. AMD this morning is going to be opening up near its close from Friday. Still had some room. AMD didn't pull back nearly as much as the rest of the market on Friday, but AMD had been leading the way down before that, and so it had been a little bit oversold, in my opinion. So it may have been a little bit too short. Amazon looks very similar to Apple. You can see some weak gamma levels below, but nothing really serious until down to that 120. But Amazon does have a 130 call wall right above it, which may act as some resistance going into today. Google, right, kind of all over the place still, right? We've been waiting for Google to break out above 112. We could really see Google start to run up to that 115 level, and I've just been waiting for this Google breakout. I think once Google decides that it wants to break out, you could really see the market start to move. Microsoft moved up, but did end up breaking its Thursday's low, so it looked a little bit weaker than the rest of the market. It's looked a little bit weaker than the rest of the market, for a decent amount of time now. We can look at FinViz real quick, which is where I look to get my map at. We look at our year-to-date performance, and you can see Meta, when it comes to the tech stocks, you got Tesla, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple. Meta's down 52% for the year. So almost, pretty much double what most of the tech sector has been doing. Microsoft, boring as ever, not really doing anything, did break its low from Friday. Netflix didn't break its low from Thursday, but did come right down to that 125 level, and people started to cover. Nvidia, right below that zero gamma level, so above 140 for Nvidia, you could see some buyers enter the market and some shorts start to cover. Nvidia's been beat up pretty bad thanks to Nancy Pelosi selling the 52 million or whatever it was. The triple Q or the Nasdaq's got some levels. You're looking at that 300 and that 295. You can see the Nasdaq wasn't as weak as the ES was on Friday, not coming all the way back down to that low. The TNX, the 10-year, is continuing to move up here. James is playing fantasy football this year. What a joke. He doesn't even know about football. Tesla didn't look as weak as the rest of the market we saw, but if you saw Tesla on Friday, it really just got sold into the close. So something we'll be watching for on Tesla today is some continuation. So that'll be something to watch. And then the VIX today is sitting right at about 25, so not really too elevated or too crazy, but still up. Good morning, Trin. Go ahead. Head back to Apple. And if you're looking for this, if you're looking for that Turtle Traders thing, I'll just post it right now while I'm thinking about it, because if not, I'll forget about it. It's a free indicator, so I can share it. I found it on the internet for free. And it was a pretty interesting book. I don't know if you guys have ever if you guys like reading, or if you're interested in reading. I do like to read a lot. Turtle Trader. Here it is. Morning, Dad. This was the book. It's called The Complete Turtle Trader by Michael Koval. It's not very long. You can just power through it and it's on Audible too. It looks like there's some Spark Notes as well if you want to just watch a video about it on YouTube. But it was a very interesting book. You guys have seen, what's it, Trading Spaces? What's that movie called? Fuck, now I can't think of it. With Eddie Murphy. But basically they do a bet where they decide if they can teach someone to trade successfully, right? And that's kind of what Turtle Trader was about. He took a bunch of random people and had basically what do you call it? He had basically just like convinced, or kind of said that he could teach anybody to trade, right? Um, okay. Um, would I consider this X bar push down as inventory correction? Yeah, I would. I mean, it's like a correction before the market opens, and we've got about only 3 minutes left until the market opens. So let's go ahead and toss some Reveille on here, and we'll get this day rolling. All right, now we are ready. Hopefully everyone else is ready. Yeah, you know, I know I'm ready. Ready to start off the week well. Kevin's ready. I do want to push out a little reminder. Remember that summer trading is over, so the market may get a little bit more volatile. And what that means is that you may want to size down on some positions, right? Especially if the day starts to be a bigger move, right? You want to be careful going, full size, or going with any previous size that you really have may have been trading with over the summer. We're probably see some bigger ranges come back in. Maybe not. I don't know if the ranges were really here to stay, or if they're going to uh if they're gonna go away or not. Yeah, we can see the market correcting inventory early on already. Just gonna merge these real quick. There's the open. So very tight range early on, a couple of ticks here. Pushes down to the open 2 times and then starts to pop up. Looks like an offer sitting on the 40 here, which is that previous day high, that little weak high from the Globex session. Pops right above it. Like it wants to just go test those singles here right away. Let's see. FYI, I'm on radio silent. I'm in a meeting. Counts are starting off very slow so far. Oh fuck, I forgot to open my page too. Let me open my page. It might be too late. So not able to get up into those single prints. We're opening up inside yesterday's value, or inside yesterday's value for the most part, or inside yesterday's balance, I guess we should say. So the market's opening up balanced. Let's watch Apple. Apple's got big news this week too. The new iPhone comes out, so that typically can affect the market. We can see most of the sectors green except for healthcare. Healthcare actually opened up on a gap higher but has traded below its open, so that's kind of deceiving here. Seeing consumer discretionary come back down now. Also opened up on a gap higher but is coming back below its open. Same thing with financials. Same thing with materials as well. So let's see how weak this selling really is. You know, if there was weak selling on Friday, then we really shouldn't get too far below that settle. And if the market's strong here, it really shouldn't break the open. Apple's turning down back below its open. And when I said gap up, I meant like a, not a true gap, just like a gap from its close. Here we go. Okay, I got the algo open now too. Okay. Oh, and let me post this thing real quick or else I'm gonna forget for sure. Okay. All right, coming back down close to the open here. Still seeing some buying here off this open. Only 26 contracts traded on that low tick right there. And it seems like more volume is coming down. Bot got into a put. So it didn't break the open there. A lot of volume came in there right above the open, and the market did not break the open. Let's see if it's going to get it this time here. Look where the volume's at above, and you're starting to see a little bit of a match. So there may be an opportunity to fade this overnight inventory here. Should the market pop back up to this 39, we see some selling. Let me get rid of this. Market pops back up, see some selling. You put your stop here above that A high, target that prior day low, target that settle. Even if it breaks the open and holds this level here, you might have to be a little bit more aggressive, but I'll be a little bit more patient, especially opening inside balance. Typically the market gets excuse me, typically the market gets a little bit more choppy, but I may have to force this one in. Let's say we go with this one. Target goes here. Target goes here. And you can probably hide behind this upper volume. Counter 0.38. $3.40 now. A lot of volume coming in right here. So still not breaking the open here, but just notice how the market's just sitting down here, collecting. So this is going to be a key scenario where as the market gets below the open here, watch for the response and watch for an incoming in volume. $600, $700, $500. Notice the response. We're not seeing really a lot of buying. See, there it goes. And look at the volume start to get low. So now we see volume move down. There's this 1,000 volume here. So above that, you start to, these people that are laggard shorts are going to start to get nervous. Okay, seller move down. That's good. So now if you shorted the breakout of that open, you can move your stop down into profit automatically, right? 32 is where the stop should be at. And we just kind of keep trying to run this and targeting that settle. This is kind of one of those times where, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the reverse button, and I won't be clicking the reverse button, but it's just, you know, you've got to be interested here, at least in an opportunity, because this was kind of our buy zone as well. Just happened to set it up a nice short early on, so. Key counts are climbing 58 to 2, or 2 to 58, excuse me. I posted that Turtle Trader thing for those of you guys that have TOS in the Codeland Discord. I'll pin it, so if you have to look for it, it's there. And I really do think, like, if you have trouble finding trend or trading against trend, that could be a helpful thing. All right, covered everything on my short except for one, and my stop is here, 29. Now my stop's at 27. And I'm out. Okay, out of the full position there. Not a bad little start to the week, which is good because the last 3 weeks of August were not super friendly to me. Very mechanical low, hitting right to Friday's settle. Notice the tempo starting to slow and the volume also starting to slow a little bit here as well. What's up, Lecker? So a little bit of a bounce here, back into volume. This 1066 here is where the seller moved down below the open to continue pushing price below. So watch this level, this 39.31, as a level where we could see some capitulation, and you might see a little bit of short covering from that level. So let's just watch that level here. Holding below it would still remain, key to stay off of the long. After watching JD videos all day, really needed a break, went to the gym and back ready to learn. Good shit, man. Yeah, sometimes, you can information overload yourself, right? You can burn yourself out trying to absorb too much information at once. And that's the thing also, is that's why I recommend rereading a lot of these books, is because you read it once and you get to the point where you're learning all new information, and then it starts to kind of wear you down, and you can only absorb so much. So there it goes. The market continues lower here, back below the settle. So we clean up that weak low. Now let's see a response. If there's a seller that moves down below the settle, to continue selling the market lower here. Doesn't look like it yet. just want to mark this level real quick. So a little bit of a bounce there, right? They clean up the mechanical low, back to volume, sitting below that Globex low here. And remember, on a spike lower, yeah, there's some news just came out right now. Let me pull up the calendar. Good call out. So services PMI 43.7, which is lower. S&P Global Composite PMI 44.6, which is lower. So they both came in lower, slightly lower, not by too much, but a little bit lower. So it came back up to volume. The sellers still decided to sell there. Netflix is getting its PP smacked right here, getting smacked down pretty hard already, down 3%, leading the pack. We have more news in 13 minutes. The unemployment trends, ISM non-manufacturing employment, ISM non-manufacturing PMI for August. Dollar's still on a tear here to the upside, but kind of balancing at the top, at the high. You're still seeing, you know, AMD catching some steam right here down below, breaking down below yesterday's close, but no follow through yet. Same thing with Apple, right below Friday's close. Pop, good morning. But yeah, what I was saying is like you can, you know, you read these books or watch these videos, and then your brain eventually kind of gets full. And if you keep just powering through, you feel like you're accomplishing stuff, but you really, you know, you can only lock so much into memory. So 8 to 61 here on the put calls. Really getting ugly here. See if we can break this 15 level. And so failure to find these buyers here in this area in between. Oh, now we're starting to see some selling in between the settle and the last. If you guys read the trade view, we're looking really to repair this weak low that we had. We had this 9.2 low at 6, and then the 9.1 low at 350, and it's a weak low, or a poor low, excuse me. And that would kind of be the target here should these sellers continue to move down. Starting to see some short covering here is what this looks like. Big buyers on the 1850 and the 20. So a little bit of short covering there, 100 lots and 102 lots. Yeah, 10 minutes until the non-manufacturing PMI comes out, so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, so a little bit of short covering going on here is what I suspect. We'll watch this 420 level, 39.22 as a weak level on the profile. Still seeing some selling coming in, it looks like. Apple's coming down pretty hard here. Remember, we're watching this 155 level on Apple. If Apple breaks this 155 level, it could start to get pretty ugly. Those LKQ calls are up 35%. Shout out to Jared for TikTok. He found that on TikTok. A little bit of a break lower there. Right to that previous Globex low, so we've got mechanical buying coming in right here. See if this volume's going to keep coming in. This is kind of one of those areas where, you know, we've got a weak, I would say this is just a weak low, right? We have a poor low, obviously, but this is a weak low coming down to, you know, the exact spot, especially on a spike, and then just trading back up into it. So if these sellers aren't willing to move down and push past this low, or initiate lower prices, I would say that, you know, the market just continues to balance, and we probably get a bit of a retracement here after coming down close to these lows, or even kind of where we're at now. The bot did a 3 candle buy. Put counts are still climbing. Yeah, 4 to 132 now. What do we got? We got 7 minutes until the next period opens up. So that was that Globex low, this level that we were tracking here. I just wanted to see where it was at. We saw that it paused right on there and then kind of broke it, so no need to keep it on there now. So track this selling here in this first period, right? We got about 5,000 to 3,000 here, about 3,000 here, 3,000 here, 3,000 here. So sellers are still willing to move down to meet the demand. I have a little example of some supply and demand when you guys are ready for it. Just let me know. Some auction market theory here that I capitalized on this weekend over the Labor Day weekend. This thing could really start to get ugly here too. Oh, whoa, where's my hand? Ten contracts on that low and some volume coming in below now. So if you're still running that short, or if you re-short it after break of that settle, this is an area where you'd be looking to cover some profit, right? Don't try to, you know, get greedy and keep everything until we break that low. Does look like it wants to go though. A lot of volume coming in down here. 136 contracts trade on that low tick. Actually 8 contracts trade on that low tick. Some crazy volume here. Thank you, Raju, for the like. Still going here. That stop on that 12.5. Looks like some sellers got trapped on that 8 right there. Let's see if they can get back down there. There might be some sellers trapped on this 8 here. So if you're short, just be careful. Don't let this thing retrace too much on you. Okay, they got back. And they're still getting absorbed down here a little bit. Need to break this 8 to continue this short here, or else you might want to just flatten. That's two smacks that it's given the 8, and you've seen a response right there. We've got about 4 minutes left, 3.5 minutes left. Jason, good morning. Man, you must have gotten here late, Brad. I don't think so. I started like around the same time I normally always start, 9-ish. So decent identification from that 08, right? Letting us know that some absorption was happening down there, and now you're seeing a bit of a bounce here. So no surprise there. Hopefully we closed out that short. Didn't get too greedy there. Now the key here is to watch the market if it backfills some of this area. So we've got a weak spot here and a weak spot here. So if this weak spot doesn't get backfilled by sellers willing to move down and initiate below Friday's value, isn't it great working from home? 9-ish. Yeah, it's great to be on the East Coast. That's the thing, is the West Coast, it was like 5-ish. But so we'll watch this to see if it gets backfilled. There's a bid on the 9/4. You know, see if some of this gets backfilled. You're starting to see some volume step up now. So here's 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, right? We identified a little bit of absorption on that low tick, and now we're starting to see some buyers step up here. So this is where we got to be careful, and you got to see if these sellers are willing to move down and meet this demand. Morning, JB. If sellers are willing to move down and backfill some of this area, you probably won't get back up to this 22 area. So if you're looking for a short, there's probably a short in here somewhere, with a stop just right above that 420. But above that 420 is probably you'll probably head back, you know, above the settle and get back into our opportunity to catch a long zone. I didn't take the long off the low. You know, would have been a nice move, but I didn't jump on it. All right, there's B period. News came out. Let's see. ISM, non-manufacturing PMI, 56.9 was expected to be 55.1, so it's up. So that might be why we're seeing a little bit of a bid here. A lot of single prints to the upside in B period. Pretty wide range to start the day. What's that? 45 to the 8. So, you know, you're looking at about 30 points. Dollar's just skying here. Oh, that's where that bid came off initially. If we can continue this lower. There's the break. Look at Apple. Apple's getting below that 155 level. This could really start to get ugly here for Apple. Watch the market. There we go. We break that 9.2 low, so we're below that low. Let's see if we're going to fix this poor low. We do. Ooh, nice. Getting into some single prints. Watch this breath. It's picking up heavy here. And look at the triple Q. The Nasdaq's getting just punished right now, going back towards that 290. A little bit of covering there. Double down for the bot. Counts are now 0 and 87. So all the way through these singles. Go ahead and just erase this. Breath is still picking up here. This thing's starting to pick up some steam. Volume's still coming in. I don't even have really targets written down back here. A little bit of short covering there. Watch this weak spot right at that 3,900. You've seen what looks like a little bit of liquidation right below that 3,900. Wasn't able to get down into those single prints. Yeah, it is tough to hold all the way through. Yeah. I didn't even get any of this downside, honestly. I reshorted at the 15 and then covered it right at the 06. So I mean, missed out on a pretty decent amount of a push lower. 46 points. Your target was 50 points. Damn, that's a nice trade. Nasdaq's just getting punished here. Apple's still sitting below this low. The breath is still picking up here. Not as so market profile has, you know, some guidelines that sometimes people tend or they call them old, or, you know, maybe they're not the new things. But a lot of times when you see a very wide initial balance, and we're seeing, you know, a 50-point initial balance here, and initial balance is the A and the B period, typically that can turn into a very rotational or balanced day, right? Which is meaning after the initial balance is set, if we don't see, and we've still got a little while until B settles, but if we don't see this breath really start to pick up and the selling really start to pour in, we can kind of assume that most of this selling is just heavy in the tech sector, and the odds of turning into a trend day are reduced. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I am saying that we definitely want to at least understand the possibility of that happening, right? And that's what can keep us, especially when we have this very wide initial balance, keep us off of selling at these lows. You know, and sometimes, oh, you sell this low and the market just continues 20 points down and you're like, oh, that was a fucking great trade. You know, it's a tough go, right? It's tough to really just get short right here. And so you know, for me, I'm just holding off, but I definitely want to at least bring that up. I was working a lot on the boot camp this weekend. I got a lot of videos recorded this weekend. Actually, I had a ton of time. And so, you know, just key things that are kind of sparking my memory from the boot camp here. You got the same today, was in the CAD JPY long 14RR. Hell yeah. 1 to 11. Yeah, good call out early too, Poke. Yeah, I saw that. That RIP JPY. That was a good call out. The bootcamp is not like a set thing. It's just videos that I'm recording. It's like a re-recording of the bootcamp. I'm gonna release it when it's finished. I got a lot of it done this weekend, and then all of my charts, I had closed Sierra and then opened it back up, and then all of my charts from Sunday until yesterday were completely closed, like are completely blank, and I wasn't getting any data. I didn't know what was going on. Just, you know, pure anger. A lot of volume coming down here. Can you talk about your thoughts on using Apex? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a decent opportunity for people that don't really have a lot of capital. Good shit, TJ. 11 points already. Good stuff. Like, I think it's a good opportunity for people that don't have a lot of capital. I think that if you utilize them correctly, you can actually, you know, make some pretty decent money with them. I think it's a good way to learn and actually maybe feel some of those emotions early on, because a lot of times when you're practicing on a sim, it's basically like being in between a sim or a paper account and a real account, right? So, you pay whatever the monthly subscription is, and then you trade. If you pass the funded challenge, then you get a funded account, and you're on a real account. Um, so there's opportunity there to get those emotions feeling, because you actually do have something at stake, because if you blow the account, you have to pay it's like $86 um $86 to renew it. And so that's just something, um excuse me, something that can help you get through with those emotions early on, and kind of just at least understand them. um you know what I mean, like, because when you're on a paper account, you're not really held accountable except for yourself. And typically, in my opinion, most people are the worst at holding themselves accountable. That's why I always recommend finding an accountability partner. That's why we have the channel in the Discord called Meet a Fellow Risk Manager, because that's what I refer to myself as a senior risk manager at the Trade Vets. That's like my title. Self deemed. And a lot of selling just hit the tape right there. From like 87 to 90. Bunch of small orders, but a lot of small orders came through. Um, so if you're not able to keep yourself accountable, and you have somebody in the Discord that you can partner up with, that maybe is trading in your same time zone or trading some of the same things that you're trading, you guys can hold each other accountable. I know my dad and I, James and I mean, a lot of I receive a lot of people's trades every single day, and I give them my thoughts on it. um and if you guys are all more than welcome to send me your stuff on Discord or to my email, and I'll get to them when I can. I typically tend to get back fairly quickly. um I just think it's important to be held accountable. And you guys can even ask my dad. Like, I'm not afraid to call anybody out, or give criticism. I'm not going to be a total dick and be like, oh, you suck. But I will point out at least what I see in my opinion. um I think it's helpful, right? You know Especially if you're new, and you're having a hard time holding yourself accountable. Yeah, you do have to pay a fee every month. um and that's pretty much for the data. That's what they charge you. It's like, once you get a funded account, it's like $80 a month or something like that. Yeah, Peter's saying Apex is having a sale until the 8th. Save 80 is the code you put in. You get 80% off. So I think you can actually start like a $150,000 account for like $35 right now. um $35 is not a bad deal. You get NinjaTrader for free. You don't get the TPO with NinjaTrader, but you still can you can use Sierra charts if you want to pay for the data as well. So look at the tick here. I'll jump back onto Apex if you have any more questions. Oh, Poke said, also your suggestion to limit myself to 3 trades or entries per day seemed to be the last piece of the puzzle for me. Absolutely killing it. Fuck yeah, Poke. Good shit. Yeah, and that's a key thing, is like, if you limit yourself to amount of trades per day, you can really, give yourself that spot where, you can't do any more damage to yourself. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like, okay, I only get 3 trades today, whether they're wins, whether they're losses, you only get to trade 3 trades. So if you take a trade, and let's say you take one trade, you get long right here, and then you get kind of nervous and you just flatten, well, that's 1, right? That still counts as 1, even though it was just a quick trade, still counts as 1. So I do think setting limitations on yourself and having a set of rules and actually following them can be very beneficial. Just started 325K this morning, slow and steady. We got this. Hell yeah. Started a new 50K this month. I've been doing 1 a month with no resets as my rule. Good shit. And I think my dad is running like 6 accounts. Let me see. He sent me his thing this morning. Um, he's just trade copying all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's running 6 accounts. And the thing that I talked to my dad about a while back was, if he's got these 6 accounts, he trades them all in the MES. And let's say he makes $100 a day on each account, which on the MES is pretty doable, right? 20 points on the MES, and it seems like a lot less stressful than trading the ES, where you get 2 points and then boom, there's the $100. Great when it works out. When it goes the other way, you might feel a little bit of stress. Patrick, good morning. But on the MES, you get a little bit less stress, right? And so he's doing that, and then I think he's doing the 50K accounts or maybe the 150K accounts. So you get it up past a certain amount, and then you're making $100 a day. You times that by 20, so that's $2,000 times 6 is 12, right? So there's 12K a month right there by only making $100 a day. And then you pay the $80 a month per account. So you minus, let's just call it 100. So you minus 600. I mean, there's opportunity to make money if you can trade smart. The thing is that most people get on those funded accounts and they just fucking gamble them, right? I'm going to make millions because they're not worried about losing the money. But, ask my buddy Jared, $80 a month or $80 a reset can add up. Is he in here yet? What the fuck's that lazy fucker doing? No, he must still be sleeping.
I do keep an eye on it.
Sweet.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, so for any of you guys that didn't hear that, I had the wrong volume on my Streamlabs wasn't working, but my dad was saying that in the after hours in the Discord, if you go down to the trade chat in the TPO bootcamp and just join that room, he's going to stream in the after hours and stream his trades. He's not necessarily going to be at the computer, so he's not going to be like calling this and that and this and that, but he is going to be sharing his ideas. So he might not be on the mic all the time, but he'll be sharing his ideas. So he normally gets home from work like around probably 6 o'clock
Yeah. Well,
Pacific
you know what?
time.
What I might do is create another what is that thing called? Discord, so that this way I can log on to it and share with you right when it goes after hours. But I don't have the luxury of sharing my screen at work, because unless you want to see what I'm doing at work, I don't know how to put it on just one screen when I do Discord. But like not James, Steve, Tommy, and I were doing after hours, actually doing regular hours, but after the regular Discord. But I think I'm going to create a different Discord to share from home, so I can do it while I'm at work also. Because I don't get home until like 6 o'clock Pacific time, and then somewhere in there I got to take my dog for a walk, which takes about 40 minutes.
Like a different Discord login.
Yeah, just like one, so I can log in after hours from work and then let everyone see my screen. I'm not going to change my regular one. I would log on with my Lincoln Haven from home, and then just another one so I can go do it, so you guys can see it. Because otherwise you guys will be chatting it up and there'll be nobody listening on that end, because I won't hear it.
I was just thinking that might be a good idea to have him a separate one so that he could just leave it up running live the whole time.
Yeah, I can do
so
that.
that everyone could see it.
Right, because otherwise, if I do it on my work one, you're going to be bouncing back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll do that tonight. But I get off early today, so I'll probably be home around 4:30, 5 o'clock my time. So as soon as I get home, I'll start streaming. because that's usually when I start to. I mean, I'll probably have other leads, and if you're on earlier, I can be on the TPO, but I just won't stream.
I don't know if you can log on from the same computer on two different names though.
No, it won't let you.
Okay.
We already tried it. Steve and I did it one time, and I was on my phone trying to do it, and it would not allow me to do it. And like I couldn't hear if I log in from home, all you're going to be able to do is see the screen because I will have to turn all of the volume down because if I don't, my wife will go crazy because that's in her office. But the I can't hear what you're saying there unless I'm in my computer here, in which case I can hear it, but then I speak there, I speak here, and you can't hear me there because there's no. I don't know if that makes any sense, but we tried this. We went this route. Steve and I figured it out. So I'll have to have another Discord.
I just created you a channel called Lincoln Logs. Oh.
Called what?
Lincoln Logs?
Oh, okay.
Oh, did you say Lincoln Longs or Lincoln Logs?
Logs.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a one from the throwback.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Should be, everyone should be able to join. Yeah, just let me know if you're able to join that channel. Feels like a lock on there. It says limited, but I don't know why. You're on there? Okay.
So the Lincoln Logs, you created it, so I need to go in and do something with it, or is that just something?
That's where you can log in with that other.
Oh, I can stream from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but I have to log in from there.
You when you log in, it doesn't have anything to do with what channel you're in.
Yeah.
So you would log in on that other computer, and that would be where you would stream, and then you would be able to join it on both accounts.
Yeah, so when you create that other account, just send me the name for it so I can invite you to the server.
Okay. So this is just where I would go. I get it. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
He's going to give you access to be able to stream on that channel.
That's a channel.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I get it.
Triple Q coming back down here. Apple's trying to come back down here. Everything looks like it wants to, or it's trying to come back down here. I'm not breaking the low here. I'm watching the breath here big time to see if we're gonna get some big continuation. We're at 2.6, kind of back at 2.6. The NASDAQ breath is picking up a little bit, but the triple Q didn't break its low there. The dollar's starting to come back, pull back here a little bit as well. We've got 5 minutes until that C period opens up. And so we got 87 to, what's this, 45 on the top. So you're looking at 50-ish point range early on here. I'm starting to see this little short covering there.
That seems like it was a heck of a rejection off the low.
Yeah, and now it's back inside that previous range there. What's this thing doing? Computer's acting. We've got the VWAP up here at the 39.09. The cash VWAP, 24-hour VWAP's up at 39.25, 39.25. Is this a big money selling or emotional selling to you? I thought it was mostly liquidation, to be honest. The same thing with Friday. I thought it was liquidation. You know, because, and the reason I thought Friday was mostly just liquidation was because it didn't break this poor low. But, you know, we are seeing some initiative selling here, followed by some liquidation on the break of that A low and the break of this poor low. But really no follow through, and you can see it kind of fails inside these single prints here now. You need a real free and high quality service to increase your viewers. Check streamdetails.com. I'll pass. One key thing that I'm watching this big time this week is going to be on the monthly chart. And this is what it is here. Holy shit, how far away did this go? Okay. So here's the monthly, right? And the previous monthly's low is sitting right here at 39.53. And that's where I think is going to be a key level that the market needs to climb above if it wants to continue higher, right? You can see where the excess is at on a monthly basis. We got excess high, finally cleaned up this weak level. So we've got excess up here. We've got the gap. So here's our entrance of a longer term seller, or at least an intermediate term seller, holding that gap. And then on the daily, we switch to the daily. We still have this gap down here. I think I deleted it, but it's still down here. Probably add it back. Yeah, so we still have a gap down here. Go ahead and add it back real quick. This low here, 5/4. 39,675. All right. What's the low here? 38,2025. Market catching, here comes C. So now we've got excess on the low, excess on the high. A very wide initial balance can indicate that we start to balance out for the rest of the day. So you've got a lot of single prints on the low, a lot of single prints on the high. Look where value is at. We do have a single print right above this C open, but value intraday is still higher, right? We've got 2 TPOs above, 2 TPOs below. We're starting to push it down a little bit, but not really anything anything super significant yet.
Bot is out.
All right, the bot sold, and a lot of times we know that that bot selling has been telling us of a reversal. Got 3,800. Oh. Or at least that a low might be in for the day. Okay, and so here we go. And let me switch back to the monthly. I just wanted to mark that so we had it on there. So this is what I'm paying attention to here on a monthly basis. We know that a longer term buyer had entered into the market during July at this level, this 3820 to 3800. We know that because this gap has held since that level. Well, this gap up here during August has held for a couple of days, right? Maybe a week now. Bots out 652 up, good shit. And now we have excess on the high. We have previous excess on the low, still excess on this, but this was an inside month, so I'm kind of just ignoring this month. And so how would I trade this day? Here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the market to come down, not get down into this level, find some buyers, even if the market can't get below this level, opportunity to buy and trade back into volume, right? Volume here, volume up here, 39.19. I'm actually thinking about opening up a swing long position here with some options for the futures if we get a decent response here, with the stop just below this B low, with that failure to fill those singles to the low side. You know, I think there's opportunity to maybe fill in some of this weak structure up here at this 39.50. That's more of a longer term play though, but intraday, you know, I'm looking to see if it's going to get back below. You got weak structure here. If it can't get back below that structure, there's opportunity to catch a long just below that with a stop. If it does break it, you get stopped out. Try another long here. It'd probably be better odds to be patient and let this thing fill in a little bit, and then wait till later in the day to maybe set up a trade. But really, at this point, I'm looking to fade the edges, right? I feel like there are very few trades when an initial balance is like this. Yeah, it just depends on if the market gets low enough and if you're able to stick it out, right? So back to this monthly, we're in kind of this balance here. Oh, Jesus, I need to work on drawing. We're in kind of this balance here, right? This 2-month balance, we've re-entered that. And we're basically like right at the 50% level, right? Even if we were to draw a drawing, there's your magic fib. At 50 is like 39.07, so pretty close to the 50%. If you drew it from the swing high, which is where people draw it from, you're looking at 50%, at 39.83, right? The key for me really is just that previous month's low. That's the level I'm going to be watching to see if the market gets above. Market holds above that, I almost have you know, no doubt that this is going to be the target. We can see an equilibrium here. This is where there's agreement on price. If we change to the arrows, you could see you're looking at about 4,100 really to about 4,150, which I think would be the target there to the upside, which is why I'm thinking about catching this swing long here. Yeah, of course, Liker, bro, anytime. I love questions, bro. It's me. When you guys ask questions, it makes me think. So you know, thank you as well. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. If the market's able to reclaim this, I think the target becomes up here where this equilibrium's at. We've got previous lows there, and we've got all these closes and opens at the same level. And so in equilibrium basically kind of is like a magnet or a place that prices have been agreed upon. We do have another one down here. We got that previous low, and then this open and this close here right below that gap. And so, you know, if the market isn't able to reclaim this previous month's low, that's where I think the target is going to be into this gap, and you'll be looking for a responsive buyer in that gap. If this longer term trader, which I assume was a longer term trader, closed out most of their position up at these highs, you may trade through that gap pretty fast. And I think if that's the case, if we do trade through this gap, then the target is going to be that 30, what's this low here, 36.39. And then I have some levels below that I'm watching that I think, you know, maybe some opportune spots to add to the long term. You know, just a little bit of buy and forget. Just toss a couple of contracts in your long term, and you know, just ride it out. They're not day trade levels. They're just those are like my long term levels where I'd add if we get down there. But that's something I'm definitely watching as the day progresses here, or as the month progresses, I should say. Watch this 155 level on Apple. If Apple's able to reclaim it, you may start to see, you know, a little bit of a bounce. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Hey, always nice to come back to the chart and your trade's already closed out. Not bad, not bad. So the next key level up is going to be that B high. A break of that B high is really going to indicate to us that the market is probably going to become very rotational for the rest of the day. Ooh, nice little ripper here. There it goes. And this is why, guys, it's so key to never pay attention to price, right? We always want to pay attention to value. And, you know, sometimes it works. It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't always work, right? And especially depending upon the type of trader you are. If you're more momentum trading, you know, then that's more of a price addicted type of trader. But the market wasn't telling us that it wanted to just sell off all day, right? We didn't have a really strong breath to the downside. We had, you know, only really strong selling in tech. And, you know, here we are kind of, you know, back just a couple handles below the open, about 10 points below the open now. And so this is a key thing why we do not want to get price addicted, because price addiction can really be detrimental to to your trading. And it came right back into that volume at that 39.20-ish level. You can see healthcare is catching a bid, really driving this thing up. Even tech is trying to come back up. Staples is pretty green here. Financials is really struggling the most, besides communications, I guess, is struggling the most. Dollar trying to come back up here a little bit after getting that push down. The euro put in some excess to the downside. Bitcoin's trying to come back up as well, coming up right to that VWAP. Oil has come back to life, to the downside, back to its original move. Gold held that price level low pretty decently as well. Apple's back above that 155 level, and if we head over here to the trade and start to look at some of this option chain here, we can see some calls are trading at the bid. So we're still seeing people sell calls on these rallies, and you're seeing some people sell puts as well, right? And this is kind of telling to me, especially if we change this off of these series. Let's just look at the weeklies here. You can see that 160 calls and puts here. That's open interest. Let's take a peek at the volume. You've got that 150, 160 level. And then let's look at the gamma. Most of the gamma is sitting at the 157s. So if Apple starts to break above 157, and let's go ahead and put an alert here at 157, you could start to see a lot of buying come into the market, which wouldn't surprise me at all. Counts are reversing 41 to 14. It looks like the bot got out right at the bottom once again. Next big chunk of volumes up here, like the 39.30. And then just above the open, that 39.35 level. Jim Dalton's having a webinar on tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern time, if anyone wants to join. Volume is still less than Friday. So still pretty light volume. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, make sure to smash that like button. If you are not in the Discord already, type in the chat, hey, I'm looking to join a Discord of people that are like myself, looking to take back some of my time from the market. And the only thing that we ask is that you be positive and respectful when you join the Discord, and I'll post that link for you. So we're coming right to that weekly VWAP here. Fuck's my headphones at? My headphones are dying. We're coming right to that weekly VWAP. That weekly VWAP is right here at the 29.24 half. It's a pretty big move off the low, guys. So here's that 30. This is where that last chunk of volume was at right here. So if you're still running the long, this is probably the spot where you would probably cover a little bit of it, as we kind of expect this weak spot to maybe find some profit taking from some weak-handed traders like myself, and then some selling maybe from people, you know, people willing to sell from Friday's session, or from, you know, the overnight session as well. Kind of re-shorting into that Globex low here. If the market starts to establish above the open, though, there's opportunity to get up here into these single prints today. Oh, excuse me. Take a look at this, guys. The weighted sector here is flipping to positive, right? That's a key sign here that you are having a shift in tone a little bit, right? So you do get some selling here a little bit off the open, which we kind of expected. 10 contracts traded on that C high there. But this, you know, and I know it's not closed yet, and it won't close for another 7 minutes, but it's at least peaking above that zero line, telling us that we are seeing some buying in the weighted sectors here. I think the key will be, if Apple breaks that 157, we want to get off the fade train completely, looking to fade this A high level. But if it doesn't, we still should be good for some balance for the rest of the day. The VIX is also up pretty decently, but has turned around big time after failing at that high. Same idea when the market failed at the low. So still green for the day, but not really anything telling there. And if we pull over the sectors, just to give you guys a peek at the sectors chart, you can see technology XLK is coming back right up into that open, looking to peak above, showing some strength. Healthcare is really breaking out. Consumer discretionary lagging behind. Let me scooch this over a little bit so we can see this here. Financials getting back to Friday's close. See communications, the weakest sector so far. Industrials is back above its open. Staples, and typically staples is a risk off situation, so you get a lot of buying into consumer staples when people are risking off. Energy look to have found a bottom. Utilities really starting to bounce as well. Not really a big Big Matter, XLB as well, and then XLRE also. So, this is a screen that I have on, or a chart that I have on my other part of my screen at all times, just to give us a little bit of insight into what the other sectors are doing. The market coming back up, looking to get back above that open here. There's the crack of the open. You got that weak spot on the profile, 33. Short covering here, big time. Back up to that 36. That's where our volume is at from this morning. We've got about 3 minutes until the next period opens up. So let's see what would have to happen for us to start forming value higher. Well, one, we're probably going to have to revisit this 39.20 level because we need this volume to start moving up, right? We are seeing the volume start to move up, so that's good. Volume is moving up, volume is moving up. A retest of that 39.20 and volume coming in would be a key sign for the upside. Drew a little B here on accident, just had to trace it out. And then, D period opens up, we'll have 3 TPOs forming up at these ranges, and then we'll have what I refer to as Brad prints if D period opens up, pretty much the whole range down into this B high. Looks like a lot of profit taking up here. That C high is mechanical, right at that prior day high, that 49 or 40.50, excuse me. That was that little holiday high. So you're seeing people sell that previous holiday high, and that seems a little bit weak to me. Information technology just cracked the green level, so it's green here. Let me switch back to Apple. Apple's getting close to that 157 level. The tick is pretty neutral for the most of the day as well. So D period opens up inside C period, a little Brad Prince down below, doesn't take the D high. Watch this weak volume spot here. This is kind of an area where we're going to give, both sides an opportunity. We're below the open, so sellers have to move down to sell in this area, but we also are above where we had, bigger volume, and there's bigger volume down below. So this area will probably be a little bit of a battleground and we'll be looking to see that response. I guess if the tick stays above the 0 line, we'll stay bullish to the upside. Yeah, it's hard really to just base it just off the tick, to be honest with you. I think there's opportunity really for both sides here, but really I'm watching this level here, this like the settle, and then kind of where this volume just dies out. The 26 here is where volume gets really weak, basically down to the settle, the 24. That would be an area where I could see the market pulling back down to, and if buyers are willing, if we squeeze this in a bit, if buyers are willing to step up from these lower levels, here's the 20, right? And then the next level below that's pretty much down here at the 3900. The VPOC is still down here. We're seeing some sellers move down below the open, typically shorter time frame traders, especially because we're still inside initial balance. This is just according to market profile rules here. But I think the market comes back down to the 20 unless buyers are willing to step up from the 20 and kind of fill in some of this area here. If not, there's good odds that we can continue higher. Yeah. If buyers don't step up, then we've got to be watching this kind of weak volume down below this 20. If they break below that 20 where all these buyers stepped up, these are momentum buyers stepping up from here. Let me refresh this. So we've got buyers, momentum buyers stepping up here, and then selling and selling. This is how I'm just associating it with initial balance. So below the open, we got some selling here, got soaked up by buyers. So far buyers are moving up. If they break this level, you'll be targeting this 26 to 24, that settle, and then that would push us back down to this 20 level. 20, and we're not using exacting numbers, just look where the volume's at and just use your brain. But a break of that level, you've got pretty much weak structure all the way down into where the initial buyers bought, and so it could be a little bit of backing and filling in that area. And probably, I would say most likely the day is going to be choppy for the rest of the day, or range bound for the rest of the day, unless that A high gets taken. If this A high gets taken and we get a nice breadth increase, information technology switches back to green, financials gets its shit together, even consumer discretionary is being pretty weak, but if we start to see some life come into them, you could start to see this these single prints above really start to get tested here. But until then, probably better off taking responsive trades for the rest of the day, And there's opportunity naturally on both sides here. You have an opportunity to fade up here. We just didn't get the Brad prints filled below us, and you're still not getting any follow through here above the open, not yet at least. But I don't think I would base everything off the tick. I don't think the tick is really going to tell the true story today, because the tick is also unweighted, and with this big selling coming in mostly tech, and you've got 2 of the top 4 sectors down over 0.5%. That's going to be tough to really get a breakout. But above the settle, I do like I like the long trades. Yeah. Sorry for the long explanation. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Yeah, of course, Johnny. Anytime. Anytime. If we can draw a little rectangle here. Oops, too much. So D period cracks above the open, back into that volume up here at the high. That's funny. Crypto Mojo, good morning. So if D period takes the C high, that does change the tone a little bit, right? Information technologies flip green. Financials is already switched from 0.5 down to 0.35 down. Consumer discretionary is also starting to catch some. And then this would give us this one time framing up feel with a long excess on the low, right? The key here to confirm, even if D does take the C high, the key to confirm would be a take of this A high. So there's the take. Let's see if this A high is going to get taken. We've got a poor high now. Counts are 9 and 28. Yeah, the bot did call the reversal for sure. So look to see, like I said, we need to see the A high get taken to confirm continuation. If the A high doesn't get taken, it's going to be tough to kind of confirm this continuation. We are seeing some green around the board now for the first time throughout the day. And you can see the triple Q is back right at its open here. I'd like to see Apple get back above that 157 to really kind of give us the oomph, get back above this open. And you can see we're kind of fading back into that C range now. Like I said, that's why we don't get price addicted. We maintain value, and that's what we trade. We trade value. So if we're getting price addicted here, that we're probably long at the top, right? You know, if you're addicted to price, you saw the break of C and you're like, fuck, I'm gonna miss it. We're gonna take the A high. Boom, you smash the green button, and then now here we are. Now you're sitting negative in the trade. When we literally just got done talking about the fade from this high, so all about perspective. And remember also, with something that we talked about last week on Thursday, a lot of times you can get blinded by one reference point or one data point. What did we call that? What did we call that? fuck, I can't even remember. But a lot of times you can get kind of blinded by just one data point, whereas, you know, it's just one key piece, right? So we're one time framing up and you're like, well, fuck, we're going to keep going up, and it breaks to see how you're like, I'm going to blast this high, I'm going to buy, right? And now you're sitting here and you're like, fuck, you know, and it's because you got price addicted. You got addicted to just that one key thing. Whereas if you're talking about the whole picture, yeah, we are seeing value shift higher. We've got 3 TPOs here, we've got 3 TPOs here, and we have a semi little double distribution with some Brad prints printing in the middle, holding us above, right? And so the key spot really is to look for it to fail in this level. I'll change off red. Looking for it to fail to fill in this level, and that could give us the opportunity to catch this long, as long as everything is, you know, agreeing to the long side. Nothing is really telling us that, not yet at least, that we're going to get big continuation to the upside, right? Nothing is really giving us that that feeling that the market's going to just break out to the upside. The breadth is still fairly neutral, right? Even red a little bit. We have the sectors that are fairly neutral. Yeah, we've got the top 2 that are green, the second 2 that are red. Look, financials just jumped down to that 0.5 again, and then we're back here below the open, you know, so pretty mixed signals for the most part. Apple's not above the 157, which we talked about, that 157 level being that gamma level that we'd like to see Apple get above in order to get these shorts to start covering, to get the market to continue up. And the tick still remains pretty neutral, right? Every time it goes above the 0 level, it comes back. Every time it goes below the 0 level, it comes back. And you've had, you know, I'd even count this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks here being pretty much right at 0 for the most part. Really neutral ticks, showing that no one is really being aggressive, or no one's really being dedicated or committing to either side. They're just, you know, they're like, meh, that's enough, I'm good, I'll come back later. And so if you're looking to get on board with a long trade, right, you're better off being responsive, like we talked about. You want to be responsive with these trades. There was definitely a great short right there at that D high, or at that D level. I got filled at 42 on the short. You know, looking to trade back down into these Brad prints. I mean, just basically just exactly like we talked about, right? You know, confirmation would have been a break of that D or that A high, and if we broke the A high, then guess what? I lose the trade, it gets stopped out. No big deal. And then I start to then I look at my bias, right? Or look at my trade. I don't really have a bias today, but and then go with the market. A break of that A high would confirm bullishness. We'd probably see Apple get over 150 on a break of that A high, and then that would be a confirmation. Okay, hey, let's go with the market. The market looks like it wants to go up now. Let's go ahead and ride it up. And if you're not in a trade, you know, this is a perfect time to grab something to keep your hands busy. Grab a fidget spinner. Relax yourself. Fauci says likely that COVID will require a yearly updated shot. Good fucking luck with that. You know what would be shitty is if like jobs and stuff. I'm not sure if jobs require you to get the COVID vaccine or not, right? Because I don't have one, but um, if certain jobs start to require proof of you getting a booster. So like in the army we had to get a flu shot every year, right? We'd get the flu shot every year, whether it be the A or the B, depending upon which influenza was more prominent. But if they start requiring something like that to get, let's say you get sick, right? And if you didn't get your booster, well, you're SOL, you're not getting paid. You know, that'd be fucked up, in my opinion. Coming right back to that weekly VWAP at that 24 or 25 quarter here. Getting into some of these Brad prints now. Looking to cover some here. A little bounce back up to the open right off that weekly VWAP. And push back down. So far, what this is telling us, or what this is telling me at least, is that we're not seeing any initiative buyers willing to step up and buy up here. And so we're seeing a two-way trade, which is indicative of a profile when we have a very wide initial balance. And it's like the ping pong reference, right? Here's a ping pong paddle. Here's the ball. They smacked it up. And here's the ball now. And then the other player, you know, sitting right here with his ping pong paddle, smacking it back. So some little effects. And so now we know our boundaries and we have opportunities to trade. And so if you don't feel like sitting around in the chop, this is where you just set some alerts and you come back to the market, right? I don't recommend just setting alert to just sell at this level or buy at this level and sell at this level, right? You want to, you know, understand the tone of the market, but you set an alert saying like, oh, hey, you know, if the market gets down to here, I want to get a text on my phone and then I want to go check the market. If you don't have time to sit down all day, you know, that's something that you look out for. A little short run in here still. Oh, what I was going to talk about, right? I was going to talk about how supply and demand and a little bit of auction market theory works. So, a while back was Amazon Prime Day. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was some point in July. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in either the end of I think it was in the middle of July. I think it was like July 12th or some shit. But I'm moving into a new house. I moved into a new house now, and I was looking to buy a bigger TV to put in the living room, right? Because we have 2 rooms that require a larger TV, like 2. I don't know if you call them living rooms or family rooms or whatever the fuck people call them. 2 rooms that have a TV in them, right? And so I was looking to buy a bigger TV, but I didn't want to overpay. Dan, what's up, man? Still got some midterm puts running. Nice. I did have a good holiday. Thank you. Hope you did as well. And I looked on Amazon Prime Day, which you would assume everything's on big time sale, right? And sometimes, you do find some good deals on Amazon Prime. 15% of the way through the Top Step Combine. Good shit, bro. That Top Step, I'm not a huge fan of Top Step just because all the rules that are on Top Step. Like there's a lot more rules on Top Step than there is on Apex. Not that it's a bad thing to have rules, but just like sometimes you want to be able to trade volatility, and it's like you can't trade within 5 minutes of economic release or something like that. So like today you couldn't have traded until after 10 o'clock pretty much, because there was an economic release at 9:45 and then again at 10. So I don't know, just something to think about. But yeah, so I'm looking at TVs, and I'm looking. I was looking for like a 65-inch TV or bigger, and the 55-inch TVs were around like $500 or $400 or something, and then you get up to 65, and then it jumps up to like 800. So you're paying, for an extra 10 inches of TV, you're paying like an extra $400, and I'm like, well, that's just fucking bullshit. It doesn't make sense to me, and so I ended up not purchasing a TV on the Amazon Prime Day. Well, me being who I am, scouring through the deals all the time. Here comes Labor Day, and I'm looking at the sales of TVs that are going on Target. Right, I know Target's has too much inventory, and I check Target a lot because I kind of expect them to have better sales. Looking for the SPY to rotate down to 394 to 386 this week. Really? I'm kind of looking for the opposite. I'm kind of looking for it to rotate back up to 4K. To 400. But I mean, I'm definitely kind of fighting a fade really, but I'm in a pretty good position with the long term, so and I have a stop, so but anyway, so I'm looking at Target, and I see all these Roku TVs and a Samsung TV and some Vizio TVs, 65-inch and bigger, and they're cheap, right? So I see a 65-inch Roku TV for like $417, and I'm like, count me in. And I go there, and I see the inventory, and actually shopped around a little bit, and ended up getting a pretty big size TV for $417 out the door, right? Where I easily could have bought the same exact TV, because I was looking at the same exact TV. I wanted to get one of those smart TVs so you don't have to have a cable box, because Comcast wants to fucking charge you $15 extra for every TV box you have. But then you can just get, if it's a smart TV, you get that Xfinity app, and then you can just stream it, as long as you have good internet. And so the same exact TV for almost half the price, honestly, about half the price, maybe a little bit more than half, 65% of the price, let's say, right? And so there is, in the simplest terms, your supply and demand, right? Your auction market theory. You've got TVs being sold, and this is only a month ago, right? Or maybe a little bit over a month ago. I think it was the middle of July, and TVs were $800, right? So $800, and this is, to me, I'm considering it an unfair high for the TV and the current time, right? Sometimes $800 is a good deal for the TV, right? They released this sale where all these TVs are getting sold from about 600 to, let's just say, 450, right? And so I make an advantageous buy here at 417, right? Not an unfair low. Maybe unfair low is about 300 if they mark this TV down to 300. Market's coming down here. Breath is starting to pick up a little bit. What was that alert that I just got? Not sure. You know, so make a little advantageous buy, and all it took was a month and a half, right? Month and a half of just waiting for that price to come back to where I decided. So not only do I think that exercising or understanding or learning the market can help you trade better, right? Understanding the psychology of the market, but it can also help you in your life, right? That extra $300 goes, you know, a long way. That pays for groceries, that pays for a car payment, that pays for, you know, fucking whatever other shit that I waste money on. You know what I mean? You know, so just thought I'd share that, you know, a little supply and demand story from real life outside of trading that I thought was you know, pretty interesting. And it may just because, you know, I'm fucking cheap. And I'm like, I'm not paying fucking $800 for that TV. But really, I'm thinking about it in the sense like, well, that TV's not worth $800, and I'll just wait till it comes down because I have a feeling it's gonna. And if it didn't, and guess what? I just wouldn't have had one, or I would have had to pay more. And sometimes that's just how the trading goes, you know. So the market peaked below the VWAP there, didn't close the Brad Prince, and is now back above or right at that weekly VWAP sitting at 26. Or the day, I mean, you can call it the 24-hour VWAP because today is pretty much Monday. If we get what you want, a nice test of that 4K, I might re-add to some 2023 puts to take a look at some new positions. But for now, just day trades for me. Yeah, I've taken day trades on both sides of the market today, but those were just some long-term ads that I got filled on today. 38.98, 38.93, and 38.94 were just 3 ads to the long term. Should have got long there for day trades, but didn't. Would have been a nice bounce. Didn't get long on my day trades till 39.03. Short this 42, but I'm out of the short, in case anyone was wondering. Look at financials and consumer discretionary, now both back down below that 0.7 level. Still a ways to go before they get back below. The thing that's really bringing the market down, and you're seeing it, you know, the tone flip again here, is healthcare. Healthcare was a big leader today. It's a heavy weighted sector, the second heaviest weighted sector in the market, about 14%, is turning back around pretty heavily here. And if Apple starts to get back below that 155 level, you could really start to see some more downside. Here comes E period. Then Nasdaq just got smacked off its VWAP. Yeah, I was trying to be patient and wait for D to come down to that 20, but since we're getting so close to that E period opening up, I just flattened out like a little baby back bitch. Let me add your thing to. I'm not seeing it on there. It's crazy how these futures contracts move. 20 points could cost you a few hundred. Definitely not looking to trade futures like a degen. Yeah, you've got to be patient. That is for sure. You definitely don't want to be. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of over leveraging and being a psycho on futures, especially. I do most of my gambling on options because there's set risk. There's no real set risk. I mean, on futures, you always want. That's why you always want to have a stop with futures. Whereas options, like you know exactly the max loss amount when you get into the position.
Man, what a move.
Yeah, nice move off of that. So unable to fill that little gap down there, and then just found a nice bounce. I missed it big time. Definitely wasn't paying attention. Trying to help my dad do this fucking Discord bullshit. Looks like short covering to me, guys. Kind of getting this P shape, and you're starting to see, maybe a 45-degree angle start to form off the high. Kind of an obtuse looking P, but possibly a bit of just short covering, and that kind of makes sense if we look at the chart here. Switch to the daily on the ES. We are kind of seeing, and the market moved pretty much. Yeah. Oh, I'll take quesadilla. Yeah. Do we have sour cream?
Yes.
Okay. The market pretty much moved straight down. A little bit of hesitation, but this may just be too far too fast. So maybe a little bit of short covering. We do have finally a repair of this weak low, so a buying tail down here. So still kind of holding me a little bit bullish, but as far as the day goes, I'm kind of thinking that some of these, I'm kind of feeling like this might be a little P shape. So I'm definitely leaning more towards the upside here, though, especially as long as these Brad prints don't fill.
When B came down, we also couldn't fill those single prints.
Down below, right, exactly, which is why I added to the long term down there. I should have just took a fucking day trade, but I was being a little bitch. But yeah, as soon as they didn't fill, I started to add a couple into the long. Little swing action. And there's a good opportunity that the market just kind of rotates all day here. But we've seen basically impulse from the same spot a couple of times. The C period breakout was right from this spot. As soon as it broke B, it really didn't even hesitate. That 20 level was kind of the big level earlier. We see volume shift up, VPOC shifts up, but it pretty much rallied up there. D period popped and then just died, which was a pretty easy short back to reality. And then E period, same thing, kind of popped down and then popped from that same spot. So possibly we're maybe seeing a shorter term buyer step up at these lower levels, you know, from this 39.24 and this 39.20, really kind of holding this level, looking to keep, you know, popping the upside. But I think probably just short covering, really. Some of these shorts just getting this opportunity right here in yesterday's value, or Thursday's value, excuse me, to cover some of these shorts. They've been short for a week or so. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days pretty much short. Yeah, we had a little cessation of one time framing, but they pretty much just re-shorted that next day. So
Hey, Brad, I had a question. Me and Pop were talking I guess it was Friday, and whenever you have, like, say 3 or 4 TPOs, we'll just call it the bottom, and prices going up, kind of like it did Friday in the beginning, and then you get the point of control shifts up to where price currently is. How do you monitor for continuation or the reversal? Because, like, my understanding was, like, when the point of control shifts up, if price gets below the point of control where all that volume just got put in, and there's good odds that it trades back to the middle, or if it stays above the point of control, then you look for continuation. Is that kind of how you see it?
yeah, that is almost exactly how I look at it. And then just look for that confirmation of volume. So like, oh fuck, from Friday, well, on Friday on this move up, and the volume, the VPOC did shift up, so we had the point of control. I mean, it ended up being here-ish, or I guess here. But so when the market came up here and then the volume shifted up here as well, and there was no continuation, and then you start to put mechanical references in, that's just kind of like your key sign. Like, yeah, don't be getting long below this, really don't be getting long below that at all until we start to establish above it. So I mean, yeah, I pretty much I look at it the exact same way. So like in today's picture, we had the VPOC shift up now, and really I don't want to be keying in on any longs until the market starts to establish above the open. That's the reference point that I would use. Yeah, VPOC's a little bit below the open, but I'd establish here. And then even then, if you do get long above the open, this basically shut off of buying, you've got to be willing to just get out of your position here, or get out of most of your position here, and manage some of that risk there. Of course, there's opportunities naturally, like, you know, to fade and things like that, but above the open would be your safer play. But it would take some time, because you would want to see F period open up here in about 20 minutes. You'd want to see F period open, or at least trade up here and start to establish itself up here and get these 4 TPOs and show us really we have 2 TPOs, 3 TPOs, 4 TPOs, and then 5 TPOs would show us a shift of value to the upside and give us a little bit more confidence here to take this long. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Thank you.
Yep. Damn, it's still raining outside. It's been raining where I live for like 2 straight days now. Look at tech here. Tech is starting to catch a little bit of a bid. Let's go back to Apple real quick. Apple's starting to catch the bid as well. The breath is almost back to green here. Healthcare is trying to turn around. Even consumer discretionary and financials are trying to turn around here. Communications is lagging a little bit, but still putting in a higher low on a 15-minute. Here's the sectors here. Try not to get in the way of the profile, but oh shit. Okay. You can see the sectors here. Technology starting to catch a bid. Healthcare looks to be bottoming out here. XLY, XLF, XLC, XLI. I mean, everything is kind of putting in higher lows for the most part here. And the VIX putting in lower lows here. So the market looks like it wants to break out here. Just a matter of if it's going to get the steam. I like to see Apple over that 157. And I don't think I'll re-short on this around this D high, even though there is opportunity here, especially tight risk. I mean, look how weak this volume is right here.
I'm kind of hesitant to long into those singles from Friday. And you got all the H period signals.
Yeah, all this. Especially because every time we see the market come up, I mean, the volume just starts to die out. And that's one thing Peter Resnick refers to as tapering, right? You're starting to see like a taper of volume, meaning that less and less volume is coming in. And if it's on the high, right, less and less buying is coming in. On the low, we consider it selling, so less and less selling coming in. But a taper of volume is showing just less activity in general. And, you know, here we are rotating back all the way to the open there. Volume stepping up here at this 35 right above the open. Some opportunity here. You know, it's tough. It's tough to get long from this spot, I'll be honest. Like, you know, as much as it looks like it's good and looks like it wants to go, it's a tough spot just because of where it's at and, you know, where you're able to manage risk or where you're able to really put your stop. One thing when I was reading some Jim Dalton this weekend, actually I was reading this book, but I think I got it from one of the videos. I think I might have talked about this on Thursday, and something I was telling James about, how Jim said that a stop should only be getting you out of a trade 5% of the time. If a stop is getting you out of your trade more than 5% of the time, you are not managing risk properly. I mean, I wrote it down. Let me find it. I write everything down. He said, if a stop takes you out of the market more than 5% of the time, you are misusing the stop. The stop is a fail-safe and you should have the confidence to take yourself out of the market. And that really resonated with me because last month, the first week of August, I traded, I mean, the best I've ever traded for the most part, especially for the year. Yeah, I have to compare it with February, but pretty close. And then the next 3 weeks, I struggled, more or less break even, right? Maybe it finished a little bit. I finished green for the month, but definitely not with a hot start as I should have. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Can you bring me the thermometer too?
You don't feel good?
I just think I have a fever, maybe.
Where is it at?
I just need to drink a bunch of water today.
You're right.
All right, thanks. And so when I read that, it really resonated with me because I felt what was happening is I was running my stop too tight, and I was just getting back ticked, as I call it, a bunch. And then that caused me to start over trading, and then I started to widen my stop even greater because I was like, well, I'm not getting fucking back ticked anymore. And then I wasn't closing trades when obviously, it was clear as day that they were, losers. Yeah, I think it's just allergies then, because I just feel like clogged up. Do we have Zyrtec? Yeah, I'll take some Zyrtec and some Tylenol. And some codeine. And so, I was, it was getting me frustrated, and so when I read that, it really resonated with me, so I wanted to share it because I feel like it doesn't just happen to me, and I'm sure it doesn't just happen to me. And so, just think about that. If your stop is getting, and I'm not talking about a buy stop to get you out, like let's say you're in a long and you've got a sell stop to like a profit target. I'm talking about your actual stop loss. If your stop loss is taking you out of the market more than 5% of the time, then maybe you need to readjust or recalculate some of the risk that you're taking and start to get more confident in your trading and take yourself out of the market when you've decided, okay, this thing might be done, right? Like, okay, stop moves up to here. And I'm not saying don't use a stop, because especially if you're trading futures, if you're trading options, your maximum loss is limited. Okay.
I need 2 patient identifiers.
Did you get in contact with the school?
Nobody's in.
I'll take a call again. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thanks for lunch too.
Hey, really quickly, what if you have like a runner? I mean, you're not meaning it if you, so let's just say I get in, I have 3 contracts, and I'm just saying this because I don't remember who it was. I think it was Pop. Was on it, he had gotten in a trade. He had 3 contracts. The first 2 hit, he made profit. He basically had a take profit. That one hit. The second one take profit. Hit. That one hit. He had a runner that he put a stop loss on that was lower, and he ended up making 5 ticks off of it. But he got stopped out at that last one. You're not meaning in that kind of a case, right?
5 points.
So, in that situation, it's just like it just depends on how confident you are in the runner, right? Like, you move your stop loss up to manage risk, not necessarily to say that I'm gonna get out of the market if it comes down to here. And this is something that I'm going to be implementing in my trading moving forward. And I'm not saying that this is for everybody either, but just like if this trade is up 5 points, let's say, and I've moved my stop to break even, so no matter what, the trade is going to be a break even trade, even if the market comes down 5 points. What I'm going to focus on doing is identifying that the trade is done, and not just hold my stop 5 points below and hoping that I'm just going to get this continuation. I'm going to be identifying that the trade is completed and just getting out of the trade.
Okay, got it. Cool.
But with futures, you definitely want to be able, or not want to be able to, but definitely want to and need to have a stop, because you never know what can happen, and you know the loss can be detrimental if you don't have a stop on. Whereas like futures, or not futures, options, you have a max loss, right? If the thing goes to zero, no matter what, like you get into a call right here, let's say a 39.35 call, and the market goes to zero, well, you only lose what you paid for that option. Whereas in a future, you'd lose, your fucking house.
Yeah.
Top Step still hasn't updated your combine dashboard. Yeah, try Apex, man. Apex, I haven't had any issues. Or there's another one actually that James uses. What's it called? Find it. It doesn't have a trailing drawdown. Called. Oh, here it is. Elite Trader. Elite Trader Funding. That's what it's called. And there's no trailing drawdown with that one. Not that the trailing drawdown should matter really, but notice all the volume filling in above the open here. To me, showing that buyers are stepping up. They just don't have any follow through. That's the thing, is like, this could just be momentum buyers stepping up and getting trapped. Thomas, hey Brad, for your sessions you only have market open and post market times, right? Yes. Yes. Oh, with Elite you pay more for the end of day. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I don't think that trailing drawdown is really. It's just, I've like every Apex account I've ever done, I've never focused on it ever. Like not once. I know a lot of people do, but that's probably, in my opinion, because you're over leveraging that account. I don't think that trailing drawdown should ever really matter unless you're over leveraging the account. I mean, if you go, even the smallest account I think is like a $1,500 drawdown. So if you go up 1,500 and down 1,500 and the account gets stopped out, well, what the fuck were you doing up 1,500 and not taking some profit? You know what I mean? It just probably means that you're over leveraging the account, which eventually is a recipe for disaster. And that's not a guess. That's a fact. Watch this 4075 level. We start to put in some volume around that 4075. There's a good chance we get some continuation. A lot of absorption here at the 40, but above that, just right above it too, where this volume's at, this 4075 level. I think there's opportunity to keep running this long up. On a day like today, it would be easy to do, yeah. But if you just held one position all day, but that's the thing, is like I'm saying, is you get in, let's say you get in and you put your stop here, and let's say you got in on the break of C. Well, C period comes all the way up, and this is 40 to 22, so you're at 20 points times 50, which is $1,000, right? Is that right? Or is that yeah, it's $1,000. Maybe my math's wrong, I don't know. But it comes back, right? It comes back, and now you're trailing, you know, you're $500 off of your max loss because you didn't take profit up here. You know, and that's the thing, is because you're setting this and you want it to trail. Well, it's just poor management. Exactly, Dr. VJ. Exactly. $40.70. Let's watch this $40.75 here. All right, JB. We'll catch you later, man. Have a good day. Looks like sellers keep reloading this 40 level here. Let's watch what F period does. Excuse me. At this 40 level. Look at the NASDAQ breath is actually flipped back to green. So now we have 5 TPOs up here, right? This is kind of what we talked about. We're seeing NASDAQ breath just flipped red. but we're seeing the 2 TPOs down below. We've got 3, we've got 4, and now we're seeing 5 up here. So we're seeing value shift higher, but we're seeing a P shape still form. So this is, you know, key that we need to just continue to manage risk naturally, but we do want to be, you know, at least aware that value is shifting up. And I think that is where we're going to call it today. It is about noon. I do have some things I want to get done today. Now that my charts are back working, I still want to continue to work on this course. I did get a lot done this weekend, and you know, kind of in the groove, so I want to continue the groove. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like, you know, I think as long as the market holds above that 39.20 level, there's still opportunity for this thing to keep bouncing and rotating to the upside. A break of that A high, I think, is going to unleash some more stops, and we see short covering get into some of those single prints, people trying to kind of front run their single prints, taking profit a little bit early. Remember, the market just got abused recently. Where's the chart at? Right, a lot of these traders fought this move up big time off of this low. We put in that gap, and the market pretty much just traded up for the most part for, you know, a month. So we had a lot of people that's still kind of fresh in their head, and you figure here's the entrance of a longer term trader. You had some short term pullback buyers getting long here. They got stopped out. Momentum traders started to pile in. The market got a little bit too short, bounced, and the market got a little bit too short again today, and didn't make any real move back down towards this low. So you figure these guys still remember this. This is just a month ago where they got punished hard for getting short, and so a break of this high, you probably see more shorts cover. And we do have a weak reference to target up above, sitting right at that 40.19 quarter. So you know, there's still that's still in the heads of some of these traders. And then also, if you take a peek at the COT report here, I don't know if you guys looked at it this weekend. But you can see, you know, for the most part, and this is something we don't really see, asset managers hedged on their short, but also added to the long, maybe indicating a temporary bounce, whereas leveraged money just cut both sides because they have no idea what the fuck's going on. And you can see asset managers 60-40 for the most part, net long. This is for the first time in a while, right? We've mostly seen, I mean, this thing's been up at like 70%. Asset managers have been, for the most part, net long, and leverage money is still continuously net short. So there's still a lot of squeeze kind of left to happen, I think. If we look at this here, you know, you can see how short leveraged money is comparatively to asset managers and you know, regular money. So you know, just something to think about. You know, I don't think that the upside is going to continue forever, but I do think that there is some possibility that we shake out some of these weak shorts. The market just traded straight down for a second. That's kind of why I was looking for this kind of swing long position. And I could definitely be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. But yeah, other than that, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful day. I will be around, just gonna be working on the class. Maybe have to go get some groceries here. You know, it's fucking 80% off at Garrity's if you take your grandma today, Senior Citizen Day. So too bad my grandma doesn't live here, but I'm just making a joke. It is 80% off groceries, or it's like, and I think it's like 10% off groceries. But yeah, other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And I will catch you all later.